there's the needle all carved out. And you'll notice that I made where the hand's going to go, I've cut it in quite fine. So that makes it a lot easier. You don't have to have quite as big a hole in the hand in order to put that in. So to solve the problem, you put a piece of dowel in there. And the piece of dowel that I used was a toothpick, a round toothpick. And so that allows you then to put it in from both sides, so that when it goes into the hand, it just makes it that much easier. And there's no way you're going to get this size through the hand. So it's an illusion that you're going to create so that when the...
Well, Brian, with your experience, you think you would be able to do that.
Yeah, so if I can give you a kind of a demo on this.
Practice on a pencil then.
So you see, that's the way it would go in. Can I hang on to the end? And just line up the dowel and put it in, and it works out pretty good. So what you basically do is you carve it, cut it in half, and then put a dowel in it. Now, unless you're really good with the lathe, Tom has already done his. The other,
Funny thing is that picture doesn't show it half.
no,
So she's holding closer to the front.
yeah, but he's made the hand bigger, or he's made the needle smaller, one or the other. The other thing I wanted to show you today was something I've been fooling around with. I got it from a book. I made up the design myself, but this is from the American Woodturners book. They come up with a whistle, a design for a whistle. And it's a very simple thing, and all you do is you get a center and you drill a 3/8 hole down 2.5 inches, and then at a 1/2 inch in you make that slot. It's a 60-degree slot, and then you take a dowel, which is 3/8 of an inch, and you just take off about the top third, and you put it in and you adjust it, and it's pretty hard to see in that. Anyway, it goes in just inside to that where the slot is. I got a diagram here if anybody wants to borrow it and take a copy. And anyway, this is what happens. Now what they did was they turned it on a lathe, and of course made a much different design. We could certainly carve it. Just keep in mind that 2.5 inches down in the hole is hollow, so you got to be careful. But there's no reason why you couldn't put any kind of a design in here. Put a hand in there, put a sleeve, put a head, put a long Santa, whatever.
Did we do that one year?
Yeah, we did. This is a much better design than the one I did a few years ago. Now, a couple of things I did differently than what Eldon did. If you take a notice of the way the collar is here at the top, his is fairly flat. Okay, and you can even see it better over on this side. I decided that I wanted it up. If I remember the nurse always having the kind of the high collar. Okay, so I'll teach it that way today. And the reason why I've got that up like that, or how I can get that collar in there, is because of the way the cutout is. And if you notice, the cutout has all this material in here down to the top of her breast, from the chin down. All right. So in order to keep that, so that you can still work with it, you have to put marks in on either side here to maintain that shape that we're going to create in here. So you can work away at this section out here to create the shoulder, but you still have to leave the material to create the collar. Follow me on that? So it doesn't matter, I guess, which collar you put on. You still have to keep the material in between. It's there for a purpose, and the purpose is to create the collar. Okay? But I'm going to start to remove the material on both sides, and I'll create that nice hollow that we have on the finished product. See how this is hollowed in there? So we're going to create this hollow right in here. Okay? I'll do one side. So the first part of that is going to be just to create that slope. Can you see that slope coming all the way up? Just the continuation from the top of her breast up to more or less the top of the shoulder. All right, that's just a straight, I used a V-tool for that. Okay? And there it is with it completed. That's hard to see, but you can feel it better. If you put your thumb in there, you should be, it should be just about the same shape as your thumb, a nice hollow in there. Okay? So, and continue down around the side of the breast so that we get that nice shape in there. I'll pass this around. Let's start working on the head a little bit. It's important to put a center line in, and it would be easy to say that where the part in her hair is the center line, but actually go with the nose and likely the crown of her hat as being your center line. So I would mark that on your diagram. I previously put it in with a pencil, but I'll darken it with a pen so that there it is, more or less there. And you can adjust that however. If you want to put a tilt in her head, you could do that. Then you have to look at, on the side view, how far back in the hair is, because we've got all this waft of hair on both sides, okay, that we have to take back in order to create the face. So let's try and establish where the side of that hair would be. Okay, so just kind of a guesstimate. I'll stop it right there for a second. Now I want to point out a little something here, that you can see how much hair there is back here, and in your rough out we've got a whole block at the back here that we can mess around with the hair. So keep that in mind, that you don't have to have that kind of a twist in the back. And in fact, if you look at my finished one, I didn't do that at all. I did a completely different hairdo. I thought that that was what I wanted to have, so I changed it up quite a bit. The other thing to point out is that the cap, I guess that's what you call that, a cap on the, make sure you leave that. It's kind of a shape that you don't want to lose. And so that is is identified in your rough out. That shape is already there. That outside shape that's here is the exact same as what is in right here. That's kind of the most extreme height as well as back of her head with that cap, okay? So mark on those two sides. I'll get the other side marked. There it is, marked on, okay?
You made a vertical mark, didn't
I just made a vertical mark. It just gives me some sort of a distance to go in, and now I'll start deciding on how far in and all that shape. So once you get the mark on the one side, then you can rotate it around the top and then find it coming down the other side. Gives you that landmark so that now we can start worrying about what we're going to do with the face. Once we get that landmark in there, then we'll shape start to point the face.
And the reason why we're doing that hollow first is just because we can see it better like
You can
this?
see it here,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
You don't go too deep, right, because you need to measure the nose.
No, we just enough to say that it's there. We don't want to lose that landmark.
That's a silly question.
No questions are silly. Okay, we're recording now. All right, so the nose, let's do the nose. We've got both sides removed straight back. That creates the side of the face as far back as the hair. So now we got to get the nose. So establish the size of the nose. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a bit of material off of both sides. In order to make that nose stick out. And if you notice that the nose in the diagram sticks out only a little bit. A woman's nose is not as big as a man's nose, so we don't take quite as much off. Okay? I'll go ahead and do that. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, we've got the nose sitting out a little bit. Now I want to round the forehead. I want to get that forehead all nice and round. And it's going to start off and it's going to scoop up and come back down. Forget about the hair. We're not going to part the hair or any of that stuff yet. We're just trying to create the forehead. So just the forehead. And a woman's face is nice and round, so we're going to do that. And I'll use a V-tool once again on that. So the next thing is we've got the top of the forehead more or less established, nice and round. So now we're going to do the cheeks as well. We're going to round it all the way down, right down to the bottom, like even below the chin and where the mouth mound is going to be. Everything has to be rounded off. So I'll use a knife to round that over. This is a bit out of the ordinary because I tend to work on the face and then worry about the rest of the hat and the head later. But in this case, I want to get a little bit more involved in it at an earlier stage because I don't want you to lose the hat. So I'm going to mark on the back of the hat where the hat would be, and where it would end up is at the front part of that line that goes straight across.
Oh, I see,
Okay?
yeah.
So now you can see where I was coming from when I was marking things out before. I've located the landmark for the front of the hat, and I'm going to create a kind of a circle around the back of the head to create just a general location of that hat. So I'll do that with a V-tool, and then I'll pass it
How far
around.
down did that come? Oh, down to where the hairline comes through.
Take a look at your diagram.